A McCurtain County hospital loses funding after a state Supreme Court decision. A man is scheduled to be executed later this morning, and construction on a Norman Cancer Care Center is moving forward. I'm Nick Daniels. This is the KGOU AM News Brief for Thursday, June 27th. A man sentenced to death for the murder of a 7-year-old girl in the 1980s was denied a recommendation of clemency earlier this month. Our own Hannah France reports he is scheduled to be executed this morning.
66-year-old Richard Rojum is scheduled to be executed at 10 a.m. today at the Oklahoma State Penitentiary in McAllister via lethal injection. Rojum was convicted of the 1984 kidnapping, rape, and murder of his former stepdaughter, Layla Cummings. Rojum has been sentenced to death for the murder 3 separate times. His first 2 convictions were thrown out due to trial errors, but he was given the death penalty for the 3rd time by a Custer County jury in 2007. This will be the state's second execution of 2024, following the stay of execution granted to James Ryder, who is scheduled to be executed in February and has since been deemed incompetent for execution, and the execution of Michael Dwayne Smith in April. I'm Hannah France.
A hospital in southeastern Oklahoma has lost its funding after a recent state Supreme Court decision. OPMX's Kate Kelly has more on how an antiquated law determined the ruling.
2 years ago, McCurtain County voters approved a measure to raise the lodging tax on hotels and Airbnbs. The tax funds the county hospital and a planned new hospital building. However, Oklahoma's Supreme Court recently ruled the county failed to strictly adhere to a century-old law. It requires ballot proposals to be published in a local newspaper for 4 weeks before the election. Instead, the county educated voters through radio advertisements, social media, town halls, and other means. Hospital CEO Brian Whitfield is disappointed.
If anyone felt that this was an opportunity to simply sit back and watch the hospital's demise, you should have packed a sack lunch, because we're going to be out here on the field for a long time today.
Whitfield says the hospital is the sole healthcare provider within a 60-mile radius. In Oklahoma City, I'm Kate Kelly.
A cancer care facility being built in Norman reached a construction milestone. A topping-out ceremony was held Tuesday to mark the completion of the exterior structure. The OU Health Stevenson Cancer Center is going up at the Norman Regional Healthplex campus near I-35 and Tecumseh Road. The center will be Oklahoma's only National Cancer Institute designated cancer center. The facility is set to open next summer. While teaching history in Oklahoma's classrooms has become more difficult, educators in Tulsa's Greenwood neighborhood are taking steps to fill the gaps. OPMX's Ben Abrams reports on a summer program instructing kids on the history of Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street was a place where lots of Black African-American people, they all prospered.
The Greenwood Cultural Center in North Tulsa has been holding a summer camp for kids to learn the history of the neighborhood that surrounds them. Tulsa-raised author Charity Barton teaches the kids about businesses that made up Black Wall Street. Barton released a children's book this year called We Did That, focused on Black entrepreneurship. She says what she's teaching needs to reach more students, pointing to the depth of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives.
The program, I do see it as being a way to reach kids in a time where DEI has been taking a hit.
Oklahoma law prohibits public school teachers from teaching history in a way that makes any student feel, quote, discomfort, guilt, anguish, or any other form of psychological distress. Opponents say the law muddies the teaching of historical racism. In Tulsa, I'm Ben Abrams.
You'll find more news at our website, kgou.org, and on the KGOU PM News Brief podcast.
I'm Rachel Martin. You probably know how interview podcasts with famous people usually go. There's a host, a guest, and a light Q&A. But on Wildcard, we have ripped up the typical script. It's a new podcast from NPR where I invite actors, artists, and comedians to play a game using a special deck of cards to talk about some of life's biggest questions. Listen to Wildcard wherever you get your podcasts, only from NPR.